call this meeting to order. All right, just some housekeeping notes. There is a sign-up sheet in the back because we anticipate large numbers, so we want to keep it ordered so that the clerk can get the precise names. That's the reason for that. When we go right into our discussion. So tonight, the committee as a whole, we are here to talk about proposal number 7 of 2017, establishing the rates and charges for the use and services rendered by the waterworks of the city of Lawrence, Indiana. At this time, any councilors have any comment in reference to proposal number 7? All right. So at this time, any public comment on proposal number 7? Yeah. Audience, citizens, comments, come up and talk about proposal number 7. We have a sign-up sheet, but they don't look like many people signed up like this, so we'll just go ahead and open it up.
Anna Maria Spurgeon, 10718 Sedgegrass Drive. Nobody's thrilled about having to do this. Nobody wants to have to pay more for a service. However, if we don't do this, we could be in very, very dire straits as a city. It concerns me more that prior administrations and prior boards did not do what they have a responsibility of doing, which is making sure that my future utility use, my son's future utility use, and your future utility use was not placed in jeopardy. And that's what's happened. I commend the current administration and Mayor Collier for taking a dive into this and taking the approach that's been taken and stating that, this is what we need to do. And it's hard. No administration would ever want to say, hey, by the way, your bill's going to go up. It's not good for the, the face, but it has to happen and it has to be. I'd also like to commend Umball for doing a thorough dive into their analysis and offering solutions as they offered them. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Name and address for the record,
Good
sir.
evening. My name is David Johnson. I live 10652 Bartley Drive. We know that this got to go on, get this water fixed and things like that, but gouging us for the money and things like that, 90%, why it can't be worked out to be like 50% going down? Because as you go, we looking at things as it go on, we know the food price is going to hike up. The gas going to go hike up because we paying this outstanding bill. That's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Carlton Curry, 11230 Windingwood Court. I'm delighted to say, although I'm a little bit out of order of the procedures here, I suspect, but last night at the Utility Service Board, I think they did a magnificent job in coming up with a change in the rate structure that really gives some relief to the folks who are in the lowest income and the ones who are, most pressed, I suppose, for usage of water. And those are the ones that are, let's say, less than 1,200 gallons or so. That's the first point. Second point is that the municipality that owns a utility like this has a responsibility under the Indiana Code saying that it shall, not may, shall furnish reasonably adequate services and facilities. I won't bother reading all of these. I sent to some of the counselors, but the last sentence in item D was rates and charges too low to meet these requirements are unlawful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hello, Council.
Hello.
I just want to make a comment that,
Can you state your name and
I'm
address
sorry,
for the record?
Patty
please?
Regas, 6225 White Rabbit Place. And my comment is that on this, I can't commend anybody, only because, yes, while no one wants to bring something like this forward, my concern is everyone's saying this needs to be done or else we're going to be in trouble. I haven't heard any guarantees that even if we do this, we won't be in trouble again. And I'd like to know, how did we get in trouble? Everybody's saying we didn't have the money. Why? Where did the money go? What's going on with the money? How can we be assured that it's not going to be an issue again? And I haven't heard anything to back that up. Because I'm the same. You got to pay. Some kind of way you have to pay for what you want. I understand that. But the amount that they want to raise it and the reason behind it, if you're going to give us that reason, well, we have to do it because we're in trouble, the money wasn't there. Where was it? Where did it go? Why was it not there? And then if that can be explained and it's a good reason, then yes, I'm ready to pay whatever it takes to get this taken care of. The other thing that I have to ask is, as a person who is partially disabled, not disabled enough to get disability, but too disabled to work, I struggle, I need help. The trustee's office does not help when it comes to paying your water bill. Is everybody aware of that? So what help are those of us that can't afford it, what help will we get when it comes to something like this? And those are the things that I just like everybody to keep in mind and be able to answer for us. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Sharonda Gunn. I live at 7075 East 47th Street. I get off of work yesterday. It's not you all's fault. My area community was totally blindsided. I get off of work yesterday. I get this notice on my door about this increase. Prior to this, had no clue this was going on. I would just like everybody to know that with this increase, my water bill will be the highest utility that I will pay. It will be more than my light bill and my gas bill. And I just feel like that's just a little bit utterly ridiculous. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
My name is Liz Humphrey. I live at 10816 Sedgegrass. I have a couple of questions that I would like to be addressed. One would be, what other avenues have you all sought in order to parlay this in another way, as opposed to it just being against the citizens? Like, have you sought a bond, if that's a possibility, and if that has not been sought after, we would like for that to be initiated, because this would help to parlay this from the residents. Also, have you thought about providing some sort of visual or some sort of walk that we would, as citizens, would be able to see the infrastructures that need these repairs? I mean, we're just taking your word for it, and I know that it probably is a problem, but we'd like to see it so that we will know what exactly is the extent of the problems. We want you to keep in mind that our township has a lot of senior citizens. They have a lot of single-parent homes. They have a lot of fixed-income homes. And this increase is substantial. I mean, we're talking nearly $20 a month in addition to what's already about $60, $65 a month. And the other thing is, I own a real estate company, and I sell homes, and I get utility listings, a utility sheet for upcoming buyers, and we have to list the prices of these utilities on there. And this could be it could affect incoming home buyers when they see how high the utilities are. So, my suggestions are that we actually seek a bond and to maybe provide something that shows us the extent of the infrastructures that need to be repaired. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. My name is Steve Hall, and I live at 7129 Ember Court here in Lawrence. And I am a member of the Utility Service Board. And on behalf of my other members, there are four of us here tonight. Mr. Jingles is in Florida. His daughter is getting ready to give birth, so he was not able to be here. I can say on behalf of the board that we feel very strongly that we need to position ourselves to take advantage
of the state revolving fund in order to get the funds to make these repairs. And the speaker before me mentioned the bond. We're not in a very good position. We're told by our consultants to borrow money, but we can borrow money, $19 million from the state revolving fund at slightly over 2% interest. I don't think we will ever do better than that. And to the extent that we put this off, we on the board feel that there is real vulnerability, that we have 2 aging water plants, the Richard plant, the Fort Harrison plant, that need immediate attention. They were scheduled, the Richard plant, as I understand it, this was before I was on the board, was scheduled to be replaced. That was not done. I believe it is about 60 years old. So it's plumbing, it's mechanical equipment. You cannot expect it to last forever. We do not have standby generation for our wells. If we get a prolonged power outage, as we've seen across the country in the wintertime, you would not be able to run your water except maybe 48 hours, maybe less than that. We feel that those things need to be addressed, and we have an opportunity to address them with this state revolving fund. How we structure the rates in order to cover this, none of us are experts in doing this, but we have hired UMBAW to try to help us, and we feel like they have provided us with the directioning and given us what we need to know in order to proceed. We have $1.5 million, it's now slightly over $1.5 million, that has been in effect taken from the sewer replacement and repair fund and used to cover the expenses of the water company, of the water utility. Those funds need to be replaced. And I understand it's all out of the same bank account. But we have requirements from EPA that we are not satisfying at this point as far as replacement and repair that we need to make. By funding the replacement of these funds to the sewer account, we believe that we can avoid any increase in the sewer bill. But we need to be able to have the funds available for the water utility in order to protect the sewers as well. So that's basically what we wanted to convey to you.
All right, Mr. Hall, thank you.
Mr. Hall, thank you. Can I ask you a question?
No, we're just gonna go with the comments so we can move on, but you'll get your chance. All right. Anyone else? How you
My name
doing?
is Harry Buckner. I live at 6652 Fountain Springs Boulevard, and my concern is, I know some water increase. I just had an increase on mine by $33, and this hasn't even took effect yet. And my main concern is, if you're going to increase this bill, what's going to say down the road it's not going to have an effect on the garbage and the sewer? So it's just one step increase in the water at this time. And because I know Republic's not doing this recycling for free. So we're going to increase the water, and are you going to increase the garbage pickup, or is all this amount spread over on garbage, water, and sewer, the total increase? Now, like I said, I just got a $33 increase for this month only. And I didn't know that we started the increase at this point in time. But if I got $33, now you want to increase it another $18 a month, is this going to cover the garbage and sewer also?
Thank you, sir.
Evening, Charlotte George, 7626 East 48th Street, and I want to echo some of the comments stated. The 100% increase, way too high, and I was curious, did we save any money? I thought we, by switching trash companies. And IPO went up, and so will gas. And I work with I work with customer service. So a lot of people that I do see struggle, they already can't afford their bills, and it's mainly seniors and people with children. So I wanted to see if you guys took that into consideration. And what other ideas did you guys come up with to make the money, the funds, any one-time assessments? If you're servicing about 14,000 people, that's over $1 million if you did a $100 assessment. And if you did like a $200 assessment, that would be like $350 million. Yeah. And will there also be any freezes on salaries for the next X years, or, I mean, I guess at least in bonuses? So those kind of questions.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
My name is Karen Cheatham. I live at 7340 East 47th Street. I'm on a fixed income. I live with my 90-year-old dad that's on a fixed income. And if they increase it like that, it's going to be, well, do we eat and buy medication, or do we pay our water bill? And I don't think it's fair, because our last administrations have robbed the city of Lawrence blind, that we have to now cover it and get this rate increase to make up for the money that they've stolen from us over the last 15 years.
Thank you,
And that's
ma'am.
all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Robert Schlafer, 10339 Colville Lane. We're going to need to do something, we all know that. And what I hear is we're going to get a lot of new equipment and new technology in order to do this in the best possible way. For many years, the city struggled with just taking care of a basic system. So the question that I would ask for you is, how are we going to ensure that we have the skill sets on the water company that can care for this equipment? Because the skill sets we have today, by necessity, are firefighting and dealing with emergencies. They're not the skill sets needed to take care of the computerized equipment, the technology, and run a system that we're talking about having. So I think that needs to be part of the comprehensive plan. I offer that to you. Secondarily, I'd ask us to scrutinize every expense. We can value engineer, we can be very responsible in how we get the latest technology at the best possible value. In addition, as we look at the Oak Landon Water Tower, and we've talked about the expensive, customized paint scheme on that. Let's go simple, let's go value, let's go high quality. Let's not allow the three-ring circus theme that's on that tower to be a metaphor for how this organization has run in the recent past. Let it be a symbol of the new beginnings that we're going to put with this new system. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Penny John, 6059 Honeywell Drive. I know it needs to be done because this is a national concern with the infrastructure for the water, and we don't want a disaster. But with the current administration that we have right now and the sources of funding, I just want to know if we could get funding or some type of grant from EPA, the USDA, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or any of the other federal sources that we have available. Did they totally cut all of that funding out with this administration? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda, proposal number 8, 2017. This is authorizing acquisition, construction, and installation by the city of Lawrence, Indiana, of certain improvements and extension to the city waterworks, the insurance of sale revenue bonds to provide funds for the payment of the cost thereof, and collection, segregation, and distribution of the revenues of such waterworks and other related matters. Councilors, any comments in reference to proposal number 8, 2017? Being that there are none, now we will allow for citizens to make comments about proposal number 8. Okay? No comments. Okay, so tonight, it's been brought to my attention, and we've had meetings, and we've heard the concerns of the citizens, and we're trying our best to be as diligent as possible. And it's my understanding that we do have an alternate plan. The administration, along with OMBAL and Comptroller's Office, have come up with an alternate plan. Tonight, I will allow that we get a preview of that plan. Now, this plan, when they give their preview of it, this is not open for comment. I wanted transparency. That's what this is all about, so that you can understand that we are working on this diligently. So at this time, I will have the comptroller and OMBAL or Scott. Okay, Mr. Salisbury.
Mr. President, I'm sorry to interrupt. I do have a question prior to this. Don't we have to vote on not recommending the first proposal first
good
before
point.
we move on
Good
to
point.
the amended?
Good point. Good point. So we have proposal number 7 and proposal number 8. Proposal number 7.
I'd like to make a motion.
Make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to not recommend proposal number 7 to
Okay.
full council.
Okay?
Second.
It's been motion not to recommend to full council,
Yeah.
seconded by Councilor Chavis. Any discussion by the councilors?
I'm trying to track here.
Councilor Chevlot.
Yeah, so you had indicated that there's another proposal forthcoming. So wouldn't it just be an amended version of what was proposed in 7 and 8?
Correct.
Rather than, so I'm just,
We still have to vote on what is in front of us right now. So that
we don't have to vote, but if you
Yeah.
called for it, but we didn't have to vote. I'm just
Well,
trying.
there's a motion that's been seconded, so we have to move forward on it.
Okay.
So I was heading that direction, but if there's a motion that we don't and it's been seconded, we have to move on with the voting process now.
I just, for clarity, I just wanted to make sure for the public that we voted on that to make it clear that we were putting that, put a vote that either we're going to, recommend that or not recommend that, and then move on to hearing the amended. Also, too, with the amended, there is no amended ordinance or anything right now.
That's right.
In front of us quite yet. All we have is an amended proposal, not an amended ordinance. So that's why I wanted to vote on the actual ordinance and then take a look at what might be coming down the pipe as a
Right,
presentation.
and keep in mind, me moving forward is all about informing the public, because there are some serious concerns. So what's in front of us right now, we have to deal with. And right now, there's been motion, been second. Any further discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilor Wells.
I had asked to speak to the gentleman from the Utility Service Board.
Okay.
When will I have that opportunity?
You go ahead right now, sir.
Could I get you to come back up? Mr. Hall, is it?
Yes.
I was not privy, because I was out of town, to come to your meeting last night. One thing I just heard, I think from Mr. Curry, that there may be some alternate plans for in billing. Is that what I understand? I guess where I'm going with this is it possible that you could still get the bond that the city needs, or the water utility needs, I'm sorry, if we made some provisions such as looking into people that just simply can't afford a rate increase. They, seniors that are on Social Security, someone that does have different issues as far as financial income. Are these things possible to take into consideration where people that absolutely can't afford it, if they can prove that they can't afford it, can get a varying rate?
I think that would be covered in the alternative proposal that the administration is going to put forward.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you.
I just wanted to make sure you address your question, sir. All right. So there's a motion on the floor. It's been seconded not to recommend to full council. All in favor by the show of hands? Any opposed? All right, unanimous. Proposal number 8, 2017. Is there a motion on the floor for proposal number 8, 2017?
I'd like to make a motion, and excuse my ignorance. That is the portion pertaining to the bond, right?
Correct.
Right, because I say I don't have it right in front of me, right? And so the two are correlated. So I'd like to make a motion to not approve ordinance number 8 as well.
Recommend to the full council.
Recommend to full council.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further? There's been a motion by Councilor Giles, second by Councilor Weeder. And there's any discussion on this matter? All in favor by the show of hands with the motion on the floor? Any opposed? It's unanimous. Now, we're moving on. So proposal number 7 and proposal number 8, so for clarity, it's not recommended to go to full council at this time. So what we're doing now is opening the floor, as I stated before, for an alternate plan to come forward, and you get a chance to get a preview of that alternate plan tonight. Until it becomes into an ordinance format, then that would be the only way the council would be able to address it. So I just want to make sure that we're clear for the public or the citizens' sake. All right. At this time, Mr. Salisbury, would you please?
Thank you, President Williams. Jimmy asked, can you use your remote to turn the projector on?
Okay. Where's Jimmy? I know I just saw him somewhere. Okay, there. I'll tell you what. Let me see. Is that it?
Yep, I think I heard it.
I hear something firing up. Takes a minute to warm up or something. There we go. Look like
There it
something.
is.
Okay. All right. Okay, there we go. All right.
Well, I think while Christina gets the PowerPoint up and running, I would just like to address a couple of the comments I heard. Number one, speaking as to why and how did we get here, there's really no easy way to say it other than it's just been poor decision-making in the past, poor management practices. It's due to politicization of the water and sewer utilities, and that's what needs to stop, because that's not doing us any good. This habit of waiting 10, 12, 15 years between rate increases is why there is no money in the utility. It's not that people robbed the utility, it's that the money wasn't there because we were not raising our rates in a regular manner to keep up with our rising expenses. So that's a big part of that. And with regard to wanting to see the condition of the utilities, we've made lots of comments on that in the Lawrence Lift. We've put information out there. We've also put links to the website on the city's website in the utility page, in the water and sewer information section, you'll see the preliminary engineering report, which was compiled by our engineer Wessler, Wessler Engineering, and that gives extensive information as to the exact condition of the utilities. There's plenty of pictures there. You can actually see the actual condition of the various water plants, wells, and components like that. Kind of hard to see water mains in the ground, but we also have information in there with regard to the number of rusty water complaints we usually get, water main breaks, service disruptions, and stuff like that. So that information is out there. We've made no efforts to try to hide anything here. And then speaking directly to Mr. Buckner, we have not put any increase into effect. So what I would like to do maybe afterwards is talk to you, and I think what you do is look at your account and see if you have maybe a leak issue going on, because there's no way why you should have the $33 increase in your bill because of a rate, because we haven't raised any rates. So you might have a leak situation going on, so we'll probably want to look at your consumption trend, and I'll be happy to do that for you. Without further ado, I think Christina will get in here and present what we believe to be a workable solution. I know that the original proposal was highly unpopular, and Controller Jason Fenwick and I spent some time running through many iterations to come up with what we believe is will provide some relief to our lower volume users, elderly and fixed income types, as well as lowering that initial phase one rate increase on the customers, and then stretching that out over a 4-year period. So, Christina?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening.
I am Christina DeWitt. I think many of you got the opportunity to listen to the original proposed plan. And as Scott alluded to, we at Umball worked with the administration to come up with what we believe to be a plan to address some of the major concerns that were addressed last week. So with that, I'll go through this PowerPoint presentation, and the nature of it is to give you the highlights of what has changed, and then obviously what the impact would be, the end results for the customers. So first of all, one of the main changes is that originally we were proposing to do 2 phases of an increase. We were proposing a 2017 and then a 2019 increase. And the proposal, or the revised proposal that I'm speaking of this evening, would actually stretch that out to a 4-phase, so over a 4-year period of time. Now with that, one of the main changes that will come into play is originally the 2019 phase was to do the 2nd phase of your projects. So now with stretching it out, that year 2020 or your phase 4 is actually going to be when your bonds are going to be issued. So what that means is your 2nd phase of projects will be pushed off a year. Anytime you're pushing off a phase of projects, obviously the cost of those projects and also the interest rate can likely be higher with those changes. But anytime you push it off, whether it's a week, a month, a year, you have those risks. The phase 1 bond issue that we were speaking of is still desired to close prior to June 30th. The main reason for this is, as has been presented and talked about tonight, an SRF bond will allow you to close on a 20-year financing at 2.21%. For those of you who do not follow the bond market on an everyday basis, it's a very, very low interest rate, and by far the best interest rate that the city of Lawrence could get on a water utility bond issue at this moment in time. SRF is a subsidized program. The lowest their interest rates have ever been or will be allowed to is 2%. So 2.21 is very close to the lowest that they've ever offered a bond issue to close at. The next main change is the full annual allowance needed for the recurring replacements and improvements to the water system are not going to be generated until 2019. And what I'm referring to here is, in the original proposal, the ideal situation for a utility is to have an annual depreciation amount generated so that each year, the pieces of your system that age and deteriorate, you would have the money generated to replace those. So kind of like a car. Every year, cars typically have a 5 to 7 year lifespan. So by the end of the 5 or 7 years, you should, in theory, have enough dollars to replace that car. So it's kind of the same scenario. In order to do that, however, you would need to have about $2.6 million generated, and that is the main thing that we've cut back on in order to try to make everything work for all of the customers and phase things in over a longer period of time. So the proposal we're talking about this evening, just for comparison, is going to generate about $813,000. So less than $1 million, quite substantially less than the ideal position that you really need to work towards. I have a schedule here, and the main reason for it is we discussed it at your meeting last week. However, I think having a visual picture of this may create or may allow you to understand what we're talking about more clearly here. With this proposal, the cash balances are not going to increase to the recommended reserves. So what I'm saying is that with this revised proposal, you'll be able to get enough dollars generated to close on an SRF bond issue. However, the main thing that's going to be missing is you're not going to generate enough dollars to fund that replacement improvement account that I just mentioned. So what we have here in front of you is there's a column that says account balance at 2/28/2017, and this is from the Controller's Office. The operating fund as of the end of February was a negative $39,721. The additional 1.5 that's added there is the sewer loan. So in theory, you're owing sewer $1,539,721. Your bond and interest account was at $203,761. And how that works is each month you're supposed to transfer dollars to that account so that you can pay your bond issues that you have outstanding when they come due. And that account is one of the few that's at close to the recommended balance. So it's about $1,500 shy of where it needs to be as of the end of February. The debt service reserve account should have slightly over 1.2 million, and it has just over $1 million. So that's the $184,000 deficit that exists there. And that was something that was alluded to in the presentation last week. So all in all, the big red number is you should have about, you're short by about $2.6 million. And these are not numbers that are, you know, best case scenario. All of these three numbers here, as far as what is recommended, is actually based on your bond ordinance. So technically, you're not in compliance with your bond ordinance right now because you do not have your debt service reserve funded. You do not have all the dollars in the bond and interest account. And you do not have 2 months of operating set aside in your operating fund. And those numbers total up to 2.6. And that does not include the dollars that you truly need to have for your capital improvement plan. And that is the reason, that is the large driver of why this increase is needed. And again, like Scott mentioned, it's not that the prior administration stole money, it's the fact that you have not had an increase. Every single thing has increased for years and years and years. And your rates have stayed the same. And as a matter of fact, in 2008, they went down, which puts you behind the curve. So that's the huge emphasis and the huge reason for the increase that I wanted to put a visual picture to. Based on the proposal that you're currently looking at, or that I'm going to be diving into on the next few slides, you would be generating about $2.8 million outside of the new bond issue for the Phase 1 project. So that means there's $200,000 that you have for your capital improvement plan. And again, the recommendation is 2.6. So that's what I want to get. That's where, you know, this is not an ideal plan, but certainly this could be something that can get you to where you need to go so you can step up to where you truly need to be. Because what we presented to you last week truly was the best way to get to where you are healthy in all caveats as quickly as possible. So now let's start talking about the actual impact of this four-phased approach. The main change to or one of the large changes in the four-phase approach is in working with administration, we gathered usage data and decided that one of the large concerns, certainly as it always is in every community, is the individuals on a fixed income. And usually the individuals with a fixed income, their usage is the lower end of the spectrum. So what we have here is we have a proposal that if you use 0 to 1,200 gallons per month, you would have a $14.95 monthly bill. And all of my numbers that you're going to see tonight as far as rates do not include sales tax. It's just the charge for the service, just so there's no miscommunication on that. If you use 1,201 gallons to 2,000 gallons, the proposal is you would have a fixed, without tax, $24.30 a month. The thought is that this would help to alleviate the impact to those fixed income, low usage customers. So with that, let's go ahead and I have some charts just showing comparisons. So right now, a 1,200 gallon user is paying $11.99. The proposal would be that for phase 1, 2, 3, and 4, so all of them, $14.95. It's a $2.96 increase per month and a 25% increase, or $2.96, which equates to a 25% increase. The original proposal would have put a 1,200 gallon user at $22.46, $23.68, and then $23.68 for the next 3 years. So that would have been a $10.47 increase and a $1.22 in the last 2 phases. So you can see it would save the customer $8.73 a bill, or per month, based on the difference between phases 1 and 2. The next usage that I show is the 2,000 gallons. And again, this is the other fixed block that's being proposed, the fixed minimum. And currently their bill is $14.97. And the proposal for phases 1, 2, 3, and 4 are to take it up to $24.30. That would be a $9.33 or 62% increase. The original proposal was $28.04, $29.56, and that would have equated to about a $14.59 increase overall over those 2 phases. So that's a savings of about $5 or $6. And then the next proposal is for a 4,000 gallon user. We originally had, the proposal here, as you can see, is to do an increase in phase 1, hold it steady in phase 2. And the primary reason for that is because phase 1 is going to be pretty late on in the year. So 2017, 2018 would be the same rate. 2019 then would have another increase, and then 2020 another increase. So you have $37.66 would be your first phase, which is a $15.25 increase. Phase 3 would then be a $2.57 increase. And then phase 4 is $4.42 for a total increase over 4 years of $22.24. Now, phase 1 is primarily about $3 of it is made up of the phase 1 project. The remainder of it is the $2.6 million deficit that we talked about in great detail on a couple of previous slides. Phase 3's increase is to get your capital improvements to a level that will allow you to have money to do things to your system. And phase 4 is for the second phase of projects. So just so you have an idea of what those relate to. Those are not just arbitrary numbers. They have some clear needs associated to them. So percentage-wise, we're talking 68%, and then phase 0.37%, and then phase 4, 11%. You can see the original proposed increase was for phase 1 being a $41.98 and then $44.26. So it was a total of a $21.85 increase. And I guarantee you every single one of you are saying, well, why the heck is it going to be 39 cents more over that 4-year phase? Well, the reason is when you have a certain dollar amount that you need to generate for your utility, and doing the minimum bills for your lower users then leaves a larger dollar amount for the remainder of your users to pay for. And that equates to 39 cents more per month when you're fully out to 2020. Does that make sense? I then have a revised comparison graph. You can see your current rates for a 4,000 gallon user are $22.41. You can see in phases 1 and 2 go up to $37.66. So all of the Lawrence ones are the yellow. So you go from over here to dead center, lower than Indiana American Water. Phase 3 will then take you to $40.23. And then phase 4, $44.65. That's what I have to present to you. So
Okay.
if the council has any questions, I'd be happy to address those.
No, I appreciate the overview. Thank you. All right. Lights, please. You got an overview of what's to come or what we're looking at for the next proposal. So at this time, any councilors, do you have anything else? We are adjourned.